Hey up switchheads, Kanan here again, and welcome to my review of Electro Ride the Neon Racing. And I guess starting from the menu we have, well, it's got split screen here with time attack and last man standing. And then we've got quick race, which basically has the time attack, last man standing and ghost mode. Basically the modes that are in the actual single player game. And talking of which, let's get into the story mode, where we find our track map and we have to then choose an actual track. I'm playing it on difficulty easy because it's really hard in the other levels. And so we then choose our neon car, or with different like acceleration and the like, and then you can pick your color, which doesn't really matter because you'll be picking your color again during play. And then after a little animation for the story, we get into the actual game. Yes, there is a like startup speed boost that you can do by pressing the accelerator at the right time. And so top left is your laps that you've completed. Just underneath there's kind of like one of those static map things to show where you are on the actual map and how far you are actually from getting to the end of the actual stage. Then we have the time, bottom left with your position, and bottom right you have your miles per hour, which you can change in the settings to miles per kilometer, or whichever that is. The controls are simple enough, as you can see, and they kind of work, kind of don't. I'll come back to that. And so, as mentioned before, there are different modes. Mainly all of them play out the same way. You are either trying to beat a number of players, a single player, or a actual time, which is still another player because there's a ghost player on the actual track. And so accelerating and basically just going around these tracks, you can change your color of your car. So if you're purple, you want to be going over purple tracks, and once you go over those you get a little boost. And that's sort of the mechanics in a nutshell for you, but does it work? Well, for me, kind of no. I found the controls way too sensitive and I couldn't figure a way out to bring them down. The handbrake was, again, too sensitive. You'd touch it and either nothing would happen, or try and touch it a bit more around the tighter corners and your car would just start spinning around. I know there's like, people will be saying there's that skill bit of just touching it enough to, I don't really care, because I don't really want to be doing that every time I go around the corner. I want a handbrake that actually does what a handbrake does, not spins my car around 20 times. And again, those color nodes on the actual track, when you're the same color, if you're angled ever so slightly, or you know, trying to overtake someone when you go over there, your car spins out terribly again, which is really bad, and kind of just left me not wanting to use them at all, just like the handbrake. And then there's the rubber banding, which was ridiculous. The first couple of times I played this game, it was really bad to get, you know, my head around the controls, so I kept on losing because of that. So I never noticed it then, but as soon as I started getting slightly good at it and ended up, you know, near the front of the pack, it was so weird. If you crash, then you start up again, your car flashes, and basically you can go through other cars. So what would happen was, when you start going again, you can see all these cars flying past you, and then suddenly they would just almost like slow right down. Like you can tell they were going visibly slower. So then you catch up with them, but because you were like invulnerable and you can go through cars, you would just go through them out the other end and just get to the front of the pack again without any challenge. In fact, there's been times where I've deliberately crashed my car because I've been behind the pack, and because of the way this works, weirdly enough, everything slows down and then you catch them up again. It's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen or played. And then of course there's I got to the end of the actual race and a few of them zoomed straight past me and I lost. This didn't happen every time, but the occasions that it did, that was annoying as well. It almost seems that if you can maintain, you know, anywhere near the front of the pack through the actual game, you could basically crash your car near the end, catch up and then just overtake everyone and finish first. Now, I'm fully aware that one person, I believe, made this game, and I kind of like feel bad saying this because it's, you know, I don't like to be negative to a person's passion, which obviously, you know, they have had a passion. And here graphically it does look quite nice, very neon, very what they're going for, I'm guessing. For me, there was also a bit too much pop in from all the large buildings in the distance, which was kind of odd to me, considering I can't imagine this taking up so much memory or whatever it takes for the pop-in to not happen. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think for the price that you're paying for this game, the graphics are acceptable. Now, sound, again, it's acceptable. The soundtrack's alright. The actual sounds are kind of like what you expect, almost like for a retro type racing game. None of these actually let down the game so much that you don't want to play it. Unfortunately, the game lets itself down to the point where you just don't want to play it. I also didn't seem to have any frame rate issues. I don't know what the frame rate was, but it wasn't that bad, as it didn't really have any slowdown or anything. And so I rate games out of 5, and I'm gonna give Electro Ride a very disappointing 2 out of 5. And this is based on my own experience on the actual game and my own feelings towards the game. I didn't enjoy it that much. I felt kind of it was very repetitive. There wasn't really much going on for it, and most of the actual levels were just repeating yourself with a lack of any actual challenges or anything. It just didn't feel different enough to warrant just playing over and over again. With the control issues, it really just put me off the game almost instantly, but I persevered just for the review, and it just didn't get any better for me. And so I would very much like to know if anyone else has played this game and what your thoughts on it are as well. Leave it down in the comments, because that is essentially what they're there for. And hit that like, and if you will, hit that subscribe button. Become a part of the Switch Heads family, because life is better when we all switch together.